No,
no.
There's an issue with this.
Let me finish. This is a very serious issue. Now, why is it that the government does not seek to go to court and ensure that whoever these people are, these herdsmen, whatever you like to call them, are not branded as terrorists? They go around with AK-47 killing people every day in this country. But the government doesn't talk about it. The government makes no arrests. The government makes no prosecution. They are allowed to do anything they like. And that is the contradiction that many people are worried about. The question is why? Again, you look at Boko Haram. You look at the way the war is being prosecuted against terrorists. When, and you need to go back on this because you need to remember this, when Boko Haram was prescribed in 2013 by the Jonathan government, the people that are in power today, I'm talking about Lai Mohammed specifically, who has just been returned as a minister, he came up and said it was unconstitutional and unacceptable that Boko Haram was prescribed. And Buhari himself, our revered president, has also, on various occasions, said things like an attack on Boko Haram is an attack on the north. We don't
have any. Sure. I just have to make it clear that we do not have any facts to back up.
Well, I will say this to you, and this is the problem. I'm sorry to say this, Osasu. This is the problem I have, which is why Nigerian media is partly to blame for this. This is an undisputed fact. It is on record. It was spoken by him in 2013. It has never been disputed by him. It has never been denied by him.
We would love it if you show us.
I can show you after this. I'll show you. If you had asked me to bring it, I would have brought it to you.
Okay.
Secondly, I'll also tell you something else which I can also substantiate. On, and I've said on many occasions, we have a president who was nominated by Boko Haram in 2013 to be their spokesman during the when they wanted to go into negotiations with the government. These are indisputable facts.
Let me bring you back.
I have to also make this clear because, again, journalism is about objectivity and facts. You would provide us. You would provide us this information.
So you know what you will do.
Okay.
You call whoever it is that represents the government to come and dispute that. I will send you the evidence. They have never denied it. I've said this thing over 100 times, so many other people have done so.
Can we expect it from you on your social media handle?
You can get it from me any day. Go and read, you know what you do? Go and read all my essays. You'll see the references. Ask any media practitioner. You'll see. Now, let's not get bogged down.
Let me just bring you back to our topic. Just a second.
I'm sorry. Let's not get bogged down in that.
Yeah.
Let's not get distracted by that. The point I'm making is that in my view, it is also a fact, by the way, that they freed more Boko Haram prisoners than any other. It is also a fact that a military commander recently said that you, as a Boko Haram person, that if you leave the army and you renounce violence, you may end up being president of this country. These are facts.
I want to bring us back to our conversation. Now, you spoke about prescription. We've spoken about IPOB and IMN. Now, and
the ones without arms are prescribed. That's the point. The ones with arms are not prescribed, and you're soft on those that are terrorists.
From a legal angle also, these people have faces and demands. IPOB had their demands. Yeah. Revolution Now, which is recent, has its demands. Boko Haram had its demand, and they were claiming territories. Now, with the headsmen, this is purely and fully criminal. And I personally believe what's happening is wrong with the criminal activities. However, they haven't come out to say this is our demand. It's different when we are talking about protests and people being prescribed.
I'm sorry, let me again educate you a little bit on that. They have made demands. They've said that they want land. And the president, the spokesman of the president of this country, again, it can be substantiated, is that he has turned around and said, well, it's better for you, that is Femi Adesina, my good friend of mine, came out and said, well, you have to make a choice. You either give your land up or you give them or you let them take your life. That is on record. It's never been disputed. Now, let me put this to you, and this is a very serious issue. According to the International Terror Index, the most violent and deadly terrorist organization in the world is Boko Haram. We have treated Boko Haram with kid gloves over the years in this country. And the president and the government that are in power today have freed them and assimilated some of them into the army. One. The fourth most deadly terrorist organization in the world today is what they call the Fulani militants. That's what they call them in the international community. Yeah. Okay? Recognized by everybody. Yet in Nigeria, the Nigerian government has refused for some reason or reasons best known to themselves to label these people as terrorists and to protect us from them. Nobody has advocated or said others should pick up arms to defend themselves against them. We don't want that. We don't want violence. We're simply saying our government should do something about the real terrorists and leave those that are not carrying arms or threatening violence alone. And that's my position. And that's a responsible and right position. You know why? Because thousands and thousands of people are being killed every day. And all of us, we're all guilty of it, act as if it's not happening, and that is wrong.
I agree with your position to an extent. Where I have the issue with is where you disagree with me, that we must guard our rhetoric. I wrote an article, I'm worried about Nigeria and here is why, and I sent it to you. And I think your response was like, we have a right to speak the way that we speak in Nigeria. And I have a fundamental problem with that. I believe that as an individual in a position of power that you are, you wield so much power with your words alone. You don't have to go on the streets to march and tell 1,000 people, come and follow me, I'm going to march about this issue. All you have to do is tweet. So when you tweet messages that divide us instead of uniting us, you pose a threat to our nation, Nigeria. You pose a threat to our security. So while protesting is our fundamental right, while speaking out is our fundamental right, where do we draw the line in our rhetoric? Where do we, you know...
The messaging.
Yeah, in our messaging.
Let me answer that. And that's a good position to take. It's a good observation. But let me answer that. And I'll go back to what I said earlier. People, one, have the right to say what they choose to say, unless it's to do with violence or insurrection and things like that, or whatever.
And if it leads to violence.
No.
Because in some cases, it may lead to violence.
Let me make the point, all right? People have an inalienable right to express themselves the way they see fit. I'm not talking about incitement. I'm not talking about violence. I'm not talking about insurrection. But to say, I don't like, I don't want, and I protest, and I demonstrate, they have that right. Inalienable, under any kind of democracy or what lays claim to being democracy. That is number one. Now, going to expressions which you don't like, let me put this to you, and I'll say it again. You say unity. This government, this government that we have today, are the ones that are responsible for the lack of unity and the division that we have in this country. You are criticizing those of us that have said that we have had enough, and we're not prepared to accept this anymore. And we want a change of government through a democratic process because we don't think these people have been fair to us. The unity of this country has been shattered. We don't like it. I don't want it. I want Nigeria to be united. I love this country. This country means everything to me for about 4 generations now. And it pains me that we are where we are today. But it's a reality. To say that, oh, we're all united and that people shouldn't talk about it and then it leads to this, you are living in cuckoo land. It's gone beyond that. Let me tell you this, my dear young daughter, because that's what you are to me. All right? Let me tell you this.